going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn People Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we are going to be recapping our thoughts of two brand new movies that hit theaters, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning and Lilo and Stitch. This is, which I didn't know until I looked a minute ago, the 50th episode of the Popcorn People Podcast. We thank you guys for the continued support of the show. And as always, I'm joined by my podcast partner here, Mr. Don Fisher. How are you?
What's popping kernels? And you know what? It's despite what people have, what thoughts they have on some of these movies coming out like recently, like it seems like we're getting back to somewhat of a big blockbuster type of summer. People seem to be going to the theater, which is great. And it really kicked off with like Sinners. I mean, I constantly saw like a crowded parking lot at a theater not far from me. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care what you're seeing, but this is good that we're getting back to some kind of normalcy at the theater. Hopefully that keeps up. We'll see. I think this weekend is going to be the final, numbers that come out after Monday. This will probably be like the precursor to what the summer is going to look like. Since this is a holiday weekend, it's going to be very telling.
Lilo and Stitch is about to break records, so it's about to break all sorts of records, and I think it's right now projected to do 165. I think this weekend. So the people have showed up. And again, I mean, at the end of the day, look, let's be honest. This only goes to show a lot of different things. Whenever you look at it, we're about to, let's see here. It says dancing to $180 million potentially this weekend. Lilo, it's a 4-day weekend, obviously. Early Sunday box office, what we're seeing right now, Disney or Paramount, that appears $180 million is within range for Lilo and Stitch after an estimate $47 million on Saturday. If Lilo has 170, it's going to be a record haul. It'll be buried, obviously, Top Gun, Pirates of the Caribbean. The 3-day outlook looks like $145 million, which only crazy thing about this is to find out that this only cost $100 million to make.
Right.
Mission Impossible is lurking around $20 million from Saturday, 19% still on course for $63 million, $77 million over the 4-day weekend. The Friday to Sunday record it's going to be a record for the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible franchise. I mean, it still costs like $300 or $400 million to make, so I don't really know like if this movie is going to make the money back. But it is what it is. But at the end of the day, people are showing up to theaters. It's a lot of money, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of money. A lot of people showing up, which is great. And I mean, there's heavy hitters coming this summer. You know what I mean? Like it's a big summer for film, and we've got the How to Train a Dragon. It'd be interesting to see what that does at the box office. We've got another Jurassic Park. We've got just think of the big movies: Fantastic Four, right? Superman. Let's see here. What else we have coming up? F1, Megan 2.0, Jurassic World. I mean, so we've got a pretty substantial summer coming our way here with film. So it could be it'd be nice to see the box office back, you know.
Yeah, and if you can afford it, I suggest having a AMC Stubs or a Regal unlimited account for at least one person in the household, because if you want to see, we already know they're not going to come down these prices. We've talked about it multiple times. It'd be smart of them to do that because people would go see multiple movies in a day, but it don't look like it's going to happen. So if somebody in the household has that account, y'all can go see. You can see multiple movies in a day. Really, if you have one of those, it's worth it to make the money worth it. You want to see multiple movies in a month to get your money's worth. But I mean, it does help for, especially if you're single or if you're the one person that likes to go see movies all the time. I think one day, I think the most I did in a day was like 3, and that was just because I had time that day. But yeah, it's definitely something, if you can afford it. I don't know how much the AMC stubs is, but I think they're both around the same, around like 25 to 30 bucks a month or something like that. But it's definitely, or at least for now, worth the investment, just because you go see 2 by yourself, that's 40 bucks. So yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, I agree with you 100%. I have one, and it's definitely worth it. Especially since we don't get screeners. But moving right along. All right, so obviously the two biggest movies of the weekend: Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible. We each saw one of those. We're gonna wait, pause 5 seconds. Which one do you think it was? Who saw what? Yes, if you correctly guessed that Dom saw Mission Impossible, and I saw Lilo and Stitch. The kids and the wife were excited to see that, so of course I took them to see that. Also, let's be real. Mission Impossible is a chore, 2 hours and 50 minutes. I heard I heard it's every bit of 2 hours and 50 minutes too. But yeah, Dom, I'll let you kick it off with your thoughts of Mission Impossible.
All right. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. First off, let me just say this title long, okay? Typing this stuff out in the review, it just looks crazy. I just want to say that. Directed by Christopher McQuarrie, I think that's how you say his name. Starring, of course, Tom Cruise, Haley Atwell, Palm Clementieff, Hannah Waddington's in it, Bing Rames, Simon Pegg, Greg Tarzan Davis. There's a bunch of people, a bunch of familiar faces. Um, and with the weirdest vague synopsis for such a big film, Ethan Hunt and the IMF team race against time to find the entity, a rogue artificial intelligence that can destroy mankind. I get it, but just a little more. Okay, I'll address the big question for everybody: the runtime. The movie is pushing 3 hours, right? And I think it's warranted. This movie is a culmination of all the other films. It makes all the other films feel like they mattered. It's not just a sequel. This is like the last chapter of a really big book. Um, all the pieces are fall into place. The things that happen in past films start to like make more sense. Now, granted, it does. There is moments where it does feel a little long, and that's just the fact that it's a 3-hour movie. Any movie, no matter how good it is gonna feel a little long because you're drinking drinks, you're eating popcorn, and you go, "Oh, I gotta pee," or you're trying to hold it in. But no, I do think the runtime is warranted. That it doesn't drag in any spots that holds too much space. Every moment of like conversation is followed by some kind of dramatic or action sequence. The big stunts are huge. I think the water sequence is definitely a lot better than the plane sequences, because as much as the plane sequence stunts are impressive, some of the setup felt a little, not, I don't want to use the word sloppy, but it felt like too, this is for a stunt, right? He's like, it doesn't feel fluid. I feel like if you're the bad guy, you're gonna know that a plane is underneath you and bumps you, and you're just gonna ignore it. No, because you've been fighting this whole time. But the story itself, the entity from Dead Reckoning Part One, is taking over everything. It's very topical as far as misinformation, disinformation. AI is starting to, it's creeping into everything, taking over everything, and now is our humanity's hubris can't take being wrong or settling down, looking at things. We're on the brink of a mass extinction through all the big red buttons in all the countries, and it is a race against time. It's a bonding of like the IMF family, and bringing some people along the way to get things done. The action sequences are good. There are some things that don't make sense, like if you if Ricky is in danger, right, and I know he's a mile away, am I going to sprint in the middle of the street, or am I going to use my spy skills to break into a car and drive 100 miles an hour to that venue? I'm probably going to take the car, but Tom Cruise is going to run. I don't understand that. I get you want the shot, but this has always been a franchise that even some of the crazier things, it makes it to where it makes sense. That don't make sense. Like sprinting versus driving a car, I don't understand. And they're getting to the point. It was creeping into uh, Fast and the Furious, John Wick territory with some of the superhuman stuff, where it's not that it's a necessarily bad thing, but when it's something that's always so serious and like look what he's able to do, you go, oh well, y'all could have just led with we were going to do some wild shit and we would have been okay with it, but it does take you out a little bit. But I think the story's cool. There's stuff that there are callbacks to the even the first film. Some faces that you see from some previous films. It's a good film. Like it is definitely like a quintessential Tom Cruise type film. I'd be, I mean, of course, you're gonna have your super harsh critics, but I think you'd be hard pressed to really find somebody that actually dislikes the film. Because look, I look, I think those who are dislike it, I think it's just the fact of people start to get like that when there's like the eighth or ninth or 10th of a movie. But I think the story, because the way they craft it, it does feel like original. It is very timely. It does make a lot of sense. There is no kind of wasted movements. It's shot beautifully. There's a lot to like about the movie. And now, yeah, of course, us being critics, if we wanted to very nitpick like the smallest things, we could. But I focused on the things that are big that it may take you out. And it's really only some of the making him a complete superhuman. And then you think about even if you try to take his age out of it, you still go, okay, well, Ethan Hunt's been doing this for over 30 years. He's still an older guy. Um, but yeah, there's and one of the things too is that I feel like the film is just as much of a horror film as it is an action film. And when I say horror film, I'm not talking about like um, a slasher ghost type movie, Final Destination type, but like real life horror. There's like these claustrophobic sequences, and the fact that the way our world is now, it looks like it's going down this route is very terrifying. So I think the movie's saying a lot about humanity, about believing in yourself. There's a lot of different things and messages that the film is trying to say. Unfortunately, I don't think most people are gonna catch that, or the people who need to see what they're talking about are gonna catch that because they're watching it for the exhilarating experience. And I think this movie has more of a message. It's very tonal. Um, yeah, man, I enjoy myself. I'm very okay with a long movie as long as it can keep me interested. To recently, I think I was listening to Rodney Barnes, who's a writer, and he was talking about he does horror, but he was talking about, hey, like, I don't mind a long movie because we need the movies seem to speed by some character development, speed by some things of importance just to get to payoffs. And I was like, you know what? That's how it was before. And then you get a little jaded from doing so much work and doing this job. And I think kind of like Killers of the Flower Moon, or what's the Damien Chazelle, Margot Robbie joint,
Babylon.
Babylon. If it's long, but it has purpose with the runtime, I'm all for it. We don't want the brutalist. But yeah, I thought Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I would go see it. I go see it. It's definitely worth the IMAX experience for the visuals. For the price, maybe not, but no, definitely is especially if you're an action fan. This is, he is like the blueprint for American action films. Especially when you watch this film, you can tell that every action hero that came after Ethan Hunt is kind of modeled off this guy. He's selfless, he's brave, he cares so much about the people that are with him. That's his weakness. They're not going to try to hurt him. They want to try to hurt his family. So yeah, it's very it's a fun time, man. It's fun. It's thought provoking. I think it's worth seeing.
Yeah, speaking of family, I saw Lilo and Stitch over the weekend, 23 years after the original came out. The synopsis for this one: a lonely Hawaiian girl befriends a runaway alien helping to mend her fragment family. Dean Camp directed it, starring Mia Kaloha, Sydney Kandong, and Chris Sanders, and a host of other people. Look, did I like Lilo and Stitch? Absolutely, positively not. Look, is it boring? Absolutely. Is it dull? Yes. Does it have some hilarious moments because of Stitch? 1000%. For me, look, it mimics the original, right? I do think there's a little bit more depth to the story of Lilo and Stitch here. That is presented a little bit differently, only because it's live action, right? You know what I mean? Like, to me, I can connect to an animated story. Yes, I can. I mean, I've cried during Toy Story multiple times in our lifetimes here. But for me, what stood out here was the emotional depth of these two characters and how they presented it. And I thought that was really well done. I think everything in between was kind of lost in the shuffle. Zach Galifianakis is pretty funny here, his little villainous role, but I just didn't really care about a lot outside of the sister dynamic and then Lilo and Stitch. The movie has an hour and 50 runtime, hour 48, which I still think that's like a little long for me, a little long in the tooth. Probably should have been about hour 25, hour 30. I think if you cut 15 minutes, probably my score goes up a little bit because there is meandering throughout the film that I just didn't really enjoy. Again, watching this and understanding that there is that live action dynamic, there is the FX versions of the film, the CGI, however they did the film. To me, it was really impressive. Only made $100 million, right? It doesn't look like a awkward thing or a weird thing. You know what I mean? They did very much like a good Sonic-like thing, right? Sonic fit into the human world, even though obviously he's supernatural, whatever you want to call it. He's an alien too. You know what I mean? Like Stitch. You know what I mean? He's like an alien in the world. But to me, Stitch fits into the world perfectly, along with the other creatures that are in the film. My kids loved it. You know what I mean? My wife loved it. The kids loved it. So, really, at the end of the day, that's who this film's for, and I'm okay with that, right? I didn't love it as a critic. I think I gave it like 2.5 out of 5 stars, which is, decent. It's watchable. If you have to bring your kids to the movie, bring the kids to the movie. Let them see the movie. You know what I mean? Let them see Lilo and Stitch on the big screen. We are very pro box office here on this podcast. So it's exciting to see people show up to the theaters. They're packed out for movies like this. This also goes to show me that there is a slight bit of exact word I'm looking for is, but screwed upness when it comes to live action because after a certain live action movie that came out earlier this year, and the only reason it didn't do well at the box office is because people had a problem with one of the stars speaking out. But people are like, oh, live action Disney movies are dead, and then everybody shows up for this one. All that goes to show to me is people don't like freedom of speech. But we're not going to get too much of a tangent on that note. But for me, like I said, it's fine. As a parent, you have to go see movies a lot of the times that you might not enjoy it, and maybe you will enjoy it. There's people that enjoyed it. You're not watching it from the same critical lens that I am. I watched it from a critical lens, and I watched it from a trying to enjoy it lens, and neither one really worked out for me. But ultimately, Stitch is hilarious, so that's worth the price of admission as well. So, it's a good movie. It's not great. It's not groundbreaking. I'm not gonna run 500 people. Somebody says, "Hey, should I take my see this, the answer is 100% yes. And that's what, at the end of the day, is what this type of movie is about. You know what I mean? Take your kids to see it, enjoy it, and go from there. So, but yeah. Have you watched anything else this week?
I think I've really been trying to catch up on some shows. What I've been trying to catch up on the new season of Doctor Who. Fantastic. What else did I finished something and I wish I could remember what it was. That's kind of what I've been doing. Like as I'm trying to go to bed earlier, and if you know me, that is very hard to do because I am like a 12:30, 1 o'clock type of bedtime person, and I've been my New Year's resolution was to like, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to get into bed by like 11:30. It doesn't always happen, but at least if I can get in the bed and just turn something on and try to catch up on stuff, because my mom, she's like, you haven't seen this show? You haven't seen this show? And I'm like, Mom, I've been trying to consume movies, and they're all just kind of sitting in there festering, collecting thoughts and forming more thoughts. And then I try to like, I always turn on The Office or something to kind of just, I've seen this before, I don't got to think about it. But I have been trying to catch up on shows, and there have been some good ones. I just wish I could remember exactly what I all watched. But I know that stuck out to me. This new Doctor Who has been, the second season of this newer Doctor has been really, really good. Let me see what I've been watching.
I watched Sirens. That was pretty all right. We binged that kind of one sitting the other night. Trying to do the same thing and just see what's new this week and stuff like that.
Oh, I finally started watching the new season of Black Mirror. It's okay. That's my thing with Black
I've
Mirror.
never seen a season one of it. So
really?
No.
Oh, they're so good. Like okay, this season, more than ever, I think is very like, so what they used to do before, it seemed to be so out of the blue when the show first started that you're like, everything was so like, oh shit, he gasped and it's kind of crazy. Now it seems to be like the things that we're seeing are almost very tangible in the future. So the episodes seem a lot more serious, and it feels more like you're watching a movie than it does you're watching an episode of a show. But they've been good though. It's you know, there's certain writers, whether it's in books or movies throughout history, that have kind of had the forethought to like see where we're going, give us the warning, and just hope that we heed that warning. And of course, we never fucking do, because humans are stupid. You can tell us don't touch the stove, and guess what? We're gonna touch the stove at some point just to see if you was telling the truth. And you know, we, especially with things in the AI and technology field, we've been watching movies our entire lives that have been warning us about the capabilities and the dangers of allowing technology to get too sophisticated. And now we're at a point where it's taking jobs, and you know, it's able to make movies from a prompt, and that's fucking terrifying. That you can replace, you can make somebody say something they never said, make them do something they've never done, because all the information, we've given all the information to technology, and these AI models have everything, and they can make, and it's crazy. I never in my life thought that this would be a thing where, you know, essentially they could take the images of me and Ricky and make us like rip apart a fucking car, and you're like, we're not that strong, you know, but they can do it. They can make it look like, you know, I'm running around with my pants down, and that's nuts that's possible. And And I think even the voice stuff is even scarier
Yeah.
because, you can make phone calls as a whole nother person. And it's been happening. We thought the movie Beekeeper was like, ha ha, he. Nope. They are calling people with like, oh, hey, I'm in trouble. I need some money. And come to find out that person has not even called you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think things like Black Mirror, things like iRobot, like all these movies, watch them, read the books, and like, I get it. Technology is cool, but there's a such thing as flying too close to the sun. That's why these stories like Icarus are there, and we just don't care, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, AI is going to be, it'll replace us soon probably. But that said, I've watched what have I been watching? I watched the
Did you
fourth
watch?
season.
Did you watch Bad Thoughts?
No, I haven't yet. I want to. It's
I've
a
seen
girl
2
show, right?
episodes.
Is it good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Look, so it's
I've seen a
essentially.
clip. I've seen the clip of the one episode of um, where the kids at school performing a play that his grandfather.
I ain't seen that one.
Oh man, I just saw a clip of it on like TikTok or something.
It's funny, man. Like it's essentially kind of like a Key and Peele.
Yeah.
It's him, but except for there's no like live audience or whatever. But he has a kind of thing that a kind of thing that he wants to set up leading into the little movie type skit, and then like the first one I think is he is a hitman and who makes a mistake and eventually shits himself and it goes completely haywire but it looks very cinematic and he is leaning. I don't know if this is like this whole show is like Tom's like, look, I can act. I don't just do stand up. I can act. Just watch. But no, it's very fun, man. It's from I think I've watched 2 episodes, and yeah, I think if you love Key and Peele, if you love Chappelle's Show where they're talking and then they get into like a serious skit, this is exactly you'll love it.
Yeah, one show that I really want to watch that everybody has told me to watch 400 times is that Forever show.
I keep hearing about that too. My mom has been blown. You watch it yet? You watch it yet? No.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to catch it yet, so that's one that I'm definitely might have to like sit down and watch it today. There's a few movies out that I kind of want to sit down and watch, but yeah, I also want to see the Fall of Brett Favre doc that dropped on Netflix too. I really want to watch that too because
the Fall of Packers quarterbacks is what it should be called. Aaron Rodgers next.
Well, shit. Yeah.
You said you watched 4 seasons.
Yeah, I liked it.
I'm 3 episodes in. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's fun and well, just like try to avoid spoilers because they're out there. But to me, like the show is really really well done. It's built pretty solid, and they do a great job with that. Oh, Overcompensating dropped on Prime Video. I watched that. I enjoyed that a lot. It was like it reminded me a little bit of Blue Mountain State a little bit, but not like not football version of it. But
right.
I love a good raunchy comedy. And then a show called Adults is dropping on FX this week.
I've been wanting to. I need to finish. What's the Seth Rogen show on Apple TV?
Studio, fantastic.
The Studio, yeah, I'm
so good.
I think I'm 3 or 4 episodes in. I got to the part where. Shit, where am I? I'm like watching all these shows at different times.
Yeah.
But I really do enjoy how they're making this show, and then the fact that there's that one episode where they're, I think the first and the second where they're talking about making that movie, and then in actuality that movie really is kind of that Jonestown is actually being made.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's funny.
Yeah. That one, yeah, I love the Studio. I'm a big fan of that. One show you won't get me watching is The Last of Us season 2 because season 1 sucked. So, all right, let's see here. We got somebody in the comments for you, Ricky. I need you to trust me one last time. What for what? What do I need to trust you on, Max? I'm confused. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited to see what's next. I think I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna try to see Mission Impossible this week. It's just a chore. 3 hours is a chore. I've got a lot going on, so it's such as 3 hours. The movie's 3 hours. Like the movie's 3 hours plus the travel time to and from the movie.
20-minute trailers.
If I want to see a premium version of it, I have to drive even further. You know what I mean? Because the theater in Mount Juliet is not great. Can you build an AMC in Mount Juliet? That'd be awesome. Recliner or like remodel the seat. But yeah, so I'm excited. What's coming out in theaters this week? Nothing really, right? No. Is it the 30th? Is this Karate Kid week?
Yeah.
Oh, Dom's most anticipated movie of the year is coming out this week. Karate Kid. I forgot about that. That is this week. Holy cow! I have no desire to see that movie. I think. Hey, Max is here. I think. Max, if you're still here, Max, I think you saw Bring Her Back. Somebody said Bring Her Back sucked. I don't know.
Oh no.
I loved the. I loved. What was that movie? Talk to Me. I love Talk to Me. I know a lot of people didn't like that movie, but yeah. So we have. I actually have The Last Rodeo. I haven't watched it yet. I forgot about that.
There's a movie I keep seeing a post for it called Tornado, and
I just seen it.
It's got Tim Roth in it, and
a traveling puppet samurai show in Britain, 1790, crosses path with the ruthless criminal, but one of her performers, Tornado, hatches a plan to play them at their own game. Oh, I thought it was like a movie about a tornado. Well,
the poster looks cool. I don't know, and I haven't seen anything advertised for it. I just keep seeing it on my Legal app.
I thought you were making fun. Like I thought you were making fun of something. I knew that was legit. Like, but yeah. So that'd be interesting. Wes Anderson's new movie is out in limited theaters. It'll be out wide. I think Dom's gonna go see that Wednesday. I might go see that Wednesday. Highly unlikely. But outside of that, I don't really see. We'll find stuff to talk about next week. I'm excited. Week after that is, of course, Ballerina from the world of John Wick. God, I can't wait for that movie to be back. But I will leave everybody in parting ways of saying one thing only. John Wick 4 was not good. But that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Popcorn People Podcast. We'll be back next week breaking down the latest in the world of filming.